the live stream up. What do you guys think? I got a new look going on. That's right, I went burgundy. I think this is going to be the final stop on my journey of colors. So I am really excited to be sharing this with you guys. All right, let me just tweet out the link. I am not a fan of what YouTube did. It used to be so much easier, I find, and now it's not so easy. So I do have the chat going live. Hey Julia, good afternoon. Thank you guys. Oh my goodness, my kids are, hold on, are out at the park, and they might come home and raise a big noise. So let me go and shut my door as well so that I will not be bothered and you guys will not be bothered by them coming back. And cop. Oh goodness. I don't like the fact that YouTube will not let me like preset the time, and then it will take a while. It'll take me more than 24 hours if I preset everything. So I have to do everything live, and then it takes up time during the recording. So I'm sorry about that, but they changed whatever attributes to make it so that it was more difficult. And I will be right back. All right, all set. So what do you guys think? We had a super moon. A super new moon was the second. Hey Asif, good. Yeah, hello John. My kids, Julia, are 3, almost 4 in February for the youngest, and then 6 for the oldest. So the supermoon could be playing a lot with what's going on in the market, as well as Mercury in retrograde. So keep that in mind. I'm looking a little washed out. What do you guys think? Let's see if I can change the coloring here. Make it a little darker so I'm not quite as washed out. There we go. That looks a little better. And so the stars might be playing with everything. There's a little bit of uncertainty with the market, with what is going on. Hello, Pulak Chakma. I hope I said that okay. So let's look at the market, see how the stars might be playing into everything, see how everybody might be just a little uncertain with everything. Hello, blind trader. Good afternoon. And let me pull up. I also have to get my watch list. I did it while we were at the car, out with the kiddos. And so I have 4 out of the 5 for my potential short list on there. And we will be pulling up the other ones as well. I actually found a lot of potential longs and not as many shorts. But, you know, just based on the momentum, and I'll show you why. All right. Let me grab this, pull it over here, put this here, and I'll show you guys my list right here, and let's bring it on over. I have to thank you guys, because in doing all these live streams, you have challenged me to learn a lot of technology, and I appreciate that. Oh, thanks, Randy. All right, so we have Ally, BK, MS, Lazy, SPRT, Domino's Pizza, Hella, Nicola, STBA, and a couple of longs over here. We've got silver as well. So let's do cap locks. For some reason that one's different. All right, so I'm gonna add that over here on to the list. We will get rid of, we'll look at the classics that I always look at, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla. I'm actually going to add Amazon on there because I did see something interesting on Amazon. We saw that there was some insider buying. Now, it wasn't that much, but remember, if somebody is putting all their hard-earned money into their own stock, then that could be a signification that they are looking for that to grow, right? So if you have an insider buying into the company, then why not potentially watch it and see if we go up from there, right? WBA, AWH, VNet, and Nokia. Actually, I think I'm going to add Peloton on as well as potential short, because Peloton on Friday had that look like it might, well, we're going to put that at the bottom right here. All right, so let's look at, hey, thanks Samuel. Thanks you guys for being so positive. All right, so we have this downward trend, right, this could be a flag right here for the week. Really, if we look at last week, if they were positioning, where were they positioning, right? We're still in the middle. We haven't really gone above or gone below. So I would really need it to break down below 343.90 right here, which was really a resistance. It's almost 3,400 as well on the, yeah, Samuel, I'll add it on. 3,400 on the ES minis, which are also important to watch. So looking at that, we might see that they might just be positioning for maybe news of the stimulus to come out over the next week, and then it's really going to skyrocket up. It might do just the opposite. Maybe they are laying the plans to go down. However, we have had, yeah, Kyle, good afternoon. We have had this also upside down head and shoulders here, right? So that we would need, if we do break down from here, I would look for a test of this area of the upside down head and shoulders. We've seen it on the majors, on Apple, on Microsoft, the SPY, the Qs, and that might lead to the market really ripping higher because they're laying their position. Now, in general, we saw that in October, it tends to pull down during the election months. Well, that hasn't really held true. For some reason, when I draw these, it doesn't want to delete them. Okay, no problem. Figure it out. I gotta talk to them about that though. COM, gold, and I want to show you on gold and silver what I saw. I was doing a bit more analysis on the bigger time frame and really seeing what we could see potentially happen. So for the shorter time frame on the SPY, we did break below this trend. However, if we can hold above, look, we bounced off the 200 SMA on my 45-minute. Maybe they are just buying and bringing it down here to bounce it up again. So maybe they brought it down to the 200 and they ripped it up. We found the moving averages up here and found a resistance level, pulled back, and maybe they're consolidating right here only to take it up higher. We will see. No, don't know for sure. All right, let's go to the Qs. So the Qs on the 45-minute, let's pull it to a 2. Charts, sorry I was outside, so I do have a bit of a runny nose. It's getting to be a little chilly up here. And I want it on the same symbol, so it should. Qs, and let's make this a daily chart on the right. All right, so the Qs. We've come back down actually to the bottom of the upward channel, right? This is only post hours that it's outside of that channel, but really we closed pretty much right on that channel. So keeping that on watch, and that was from drawing it from the 24th of September to the 6th of October. Not a wonder, hey, maybe we could surge higher. Maybe we're gonna gap up and we're gonna test 294, and then we're gonna see. If we break above 294 next week, we'll likely have a lot of shorts that we're getting in. Remember, last week, we did have this big gap up. So our entire range for the week, that's not what I wanted. I want the rectangle over here. It seems like they've been doing weeks of positioning almost, and then they take it higher or they take it lower. So I'd really be watching for above 296.50 or below 286.40. If we go sideways this week, they're simply laying more of a position, right? So here we had, hey, let's watch this area. If it goes above, yes, boom, look at where we shot up from 278 to 296. But when we went below, we pulled back down here to 261. So keeping these levels, that support and resistance over a week time frame can be important. And if we look at it on the weekly, you'll even see it's really in that upward trend, right? It broke down a little bit. We have a little bit of a bull flag, and then boom, right back up. We were not able to break above and hold above 293.20. So we'd like to see that break above right there, right? Break above that 296.40, like I said, with volume and continue. Here's a positive though. We've seen that we've had a bit more volume coming up. Our stochastics are curling on the 45-minute. Many times when it comes down below, it does have a nice surge and a run up. It tends to have that as a bit of a retracement back to the levels from before. So maybe that's going to turn into a large run up here. Julia, you know what? I follow the dark pool prints and I follow the price action. Try not to think too much about it. So when you're trading, if you are sticking strictly to the charts and the price action, you're going to find your results are better. So keep all of that in mind, because if you looked and you were thinking, hey, look at this chart, right? Here is the pandemic. Here's where it's at its worst. Oh my goodness, we've now had 210,000 deaths in the US. Well, where did the market go? The market went up. The market is irrational. We also have a bit of a cup and handle sort of breakout right here. So if we can find that power to surge higher, boom, we will. And there might be some uncertainty in the next 2 weeks with the election, with vaccines, all of the numbers. Now, they do talk about the unfortunate number of people that have had fatal reactions to having COVID of roughly 210,000. It's probably a little bit higher now, with an infection rate of 8.1 million. When you do the math, that's 2.7%. So that means it's 97.3% survival rate. And unfortunately, it's affecting the elderly, more retired people. So it's not affecting the workforce. However, if people of that higher probability infection rate or higher affected population stay home, that's better. For everyone else that's younger, in general, it does not affect them. Rather than, except for maybe like 2 weeks of feeling absolutely crappy. But for the majority, it's a 97% survival rate. So, hey, I'm doing my part in not spreading it, trying to stay home, trying to be socially distanced from people, and really communicate through everyone virtually, which is awesome. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the market will crash based on COVID. It might be more in relation to the economic arena that the world is in right at the moment, that the US has created a massive debt bubble. The real estate market, there's so many people that were not able to pay their rent or pay their mortgages. And when that happens, that can cause the rest of the economy to slow down. If you look back at 2008, it took about 3 years for it to recover. Well, our unemployment rate is higher because people are at home. The mortgage defaults are not being truly reported. Also in Canada, they've done something called CEWS, where they are still having the government pay the employers 75% of the employees' wages. However, those employees are not necessarily working. So the unemployment numbers are definitely skewed in Canada. So all of this in the big picture, there could be some false reporting of numbers that are looking like it's better than it is, such as well with airlines saying, hey, our bookings are up. Well, was that a completed trip? Or was that simply somebody that just had an old ticket and they made a new booking with that old ticket, or they rebooked? So that could be considered a booking. Same thing with the cruise lines, where they might come out and say, oh yes, our booking numbers were up, but those might have simply been rebooked cruises from before. So all of that, you have to keep that in mind. They manipulate stuff, they falsely report things, and I'm just a big believer that they really manipulate everything. All right, so on to Apple. Apple, we're testing here at the 200 simple moving average. Again, Apple and Microsoft really control the indexes, SPY and the Qs. So this is a lower, hey Corey, good afternoon. I used to live in Buckhead 20 years ago. It was awesome. I had a great time when I lived there. And I did a lot of marathon training with Jeff Calloway group. All right, so here Apple's down at the 8 EMA, and it might simply surge up from here. We are looking a bit oversold over here. We have earnings coming up. They are having that announcement. We did see a big drop down. We have a bit of a gap to fill down here, which is also the 50 simple moving average and the 21 EMA. So maybe we're going to see a pull down over here. I would look for Apple to break above 120, 150 or break down below with volume right here at 118.70. Yeah, it really is awesome. I loved my time there and running. I used to run at 5 in the morning, not at night because it was much cooler in the morning and the roads were still hot at that time as well, because at night it was just too hot to run. All right, so over here for Microsoft, I would look for it to break down below, actually I'm going to pull this down here, break down below 217.20. Yeah, 5 a.m. I used to be up early. And 223 to the upside. Tesla, let's look at Tesla. So Tesla, I would say we came down and pretty much tested right here. We might have a resurgence and then surge higher. It does need to clear that 456.80 area before it could run to the upside. Amazon, so yeah, look at that. Amazon came down. Where did it bounce, guys? What's this EMA? Who knows? Who's been following me? What's this EMA on the 425? Excuse me, 45 minutes. I just gave the answer away. The 425 EMA. So we have a bit of a downward trend on the shorter time frame here, right? And it had a hammer up here and it came down. Now, are we going to, yeah, everybody knows. Everybody knows. This is a level from before, a dark pool level. So we bounced off of it. This could have been big buying, and now we're going to surge to the upside. So I would watch this trend line, see if we're able to break above 33. Let's look for that. Let's put an alert there, add an alert on the trend line. They might have really been positioning, and what they love to do in the dark pool is really, really trick people into, oh my goodness, this looks like it's going to go down. And then they simply load up right at close. And then they do just the opposite, right? And they can really trick people that way. So this one, yes, it looked like it was going to have a wild, crazy sell-off, and psych, nope. They brought it all the way back up, and now it's here. So on the 15-minute chart, yeah, it looks like maybe even 33.60. Let's put another alert there. Add an alert for 33.60, and we'll watch it from there. All right, let's get into the potential longs. So we have Ally Financial. Let's see if I have any other. There we go. I knew I had some lines on here to it. We just had earnings, up day on earnings. I would look for it to break above 29.20 here or break down below. Now remember, it looks like this was a nice resistance flip to be support, 28.40. You want to remember that many times for earnings, you will see a 3-day run to the upside and then a potential pullback. So right here, let's see, this one had 3 days, almost 1, 2, it opened down and then it moved up. We had a nice hammer here on the candlesticks. So 28.40 and 29.20. BK as well also had earnings. Would look for it maybe to come up here and test that 38.75 again. And to the downside here, I'd like to see it break down below 37.80 right here. So 37.80 as support and 38.60. I'm going to put 75 for the breakout. I'm going to pull it up here. All right, moving on to Morgan Stanley. So Morgan Stanley also had earnings, a nice run up, right, into earnings. And we do have a little bit of a gap down here. So we might see that it pulls back below and it comes back down and it will test down here, maybe down to that $51 mark area. So we'll put that support area at 51.50 and resistance up at 52.25 over here, right there, which is also an area that was resistance in the past. So if it can break through here, then likely a quick run right on up to 52.70. After that, up to the around $1.53. Yeah, I have Nikola on there as a potential short. That's right, John. I do have it on my list to watch for today. So we also have Lazy. I've never heard about Lazy before, but look at this crazy, crazy volume, right? And we're moving to the upside. It just had a 52-week breakout last week on the 12th, so on Monday. And so we will see if this will continue further, right? It looks like, I'm going to give it wider range of 62.25 down on the bottom and 17.60 on the top here. I know, Kyle, I looked at the chart. It doesn't look good. We'll get into it. You'll see. That's what the chart was telling me. We'll look at it. Doesn't mean that they won't pop it right at the beginning of the day. All right, so we have support.com. Again, crazy volume. This is lower priced, so I would look for it to break above 240 here. You can see really resistance, 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 crazy volume. And I would look for the support right here, 230 for support. So just 10 cents. Actually, let's pull this down to 220. You can see it really acted as a resistance right here, support, and then flipped to be resistance. So 220, right? It really struggled there. So if it's able to head up from here, it is a bit overbought on the daily. On the 15-minute, looks like it has some more potential to squeeze up. So it might only go up 10 cents to 250, maybe 260 right here. That was an area of resistance, and then on up to 268 from there. All right, so we have 220 and 240. And Domino's, sorry, Kyle. All right, let's get rid of these down here. Old drawings, I don't need those. All right, so on the daily chart, we have earnings and it's pulling back from earnings, right? Now, this might surge higher. They might take it all the way up here to 411.40, but right now it's definitely in a bit of downward trend. So I would tighten it here. I'd put my resistance at 450 cents right there, and I'd look for support of 396.50. Let's check and see where it is. I'm going to even lower that to 396.50. Okay, just above, because that was likely a buying point. They saw it, boom, they took it up. So yeah, but Kyle, hope is not a strategy, right? So we've got this right here. This is telling me that it's in a downward trend right at the moment. Here, let's do this. Right? So it's in a bit of a downward trend. So they might even pop it up to 401, and then they might take it down to 393. But for the past 3 days, it's been in a downward trend right after earnings. Sometimes on that third day, it will create the base and they will have buying and a new support level will come in. Also on the daily, it bounced off of that moving average. So this might be a very steep bear trap, but it would need to have volume. What I don't like about it is right here, this candlestick. This is the highest volume and we are below it, right? This close was below this volume candle. So, good morning, happy times. Where are you from? Tuning in from, since it's now 1:57 Eastern. All right, 396.50 and 450. All right, so let's go to Helena, I think it's Helen of Troy. So this one had a dramatic pullback on Friday, right? But you know what? I need to just do it on this chart. And support over here. So we have potential move down to 191.50 here, then down to 189.60. If that fails, you can see it pulled down after earnings, bounced up. Maybe there was some selling right here. So there might have been a rounded top for selling, and now they're done. I'd have to look back as well to see on dark pool prints. Maybe there was a bunch here at 203.33, 203.50, 204.25, and now maybe they're looking to take it down. So if we go to the downside, maybe that target right down here, 190.22, and then down to 185.28. Yeah, Dea, I will add that on. I hope I pronounced your name correctly too. It really just does not let me delete these. I'll deal with that later. All right, so what are my levels here? So we have 195, we'll put it 196, and break down below 193.60. All right, Nicola, looking at it for shorts. Yes, look at Nicola, how it just had that crazy down. And look, we closed below this resistance level right here. But look at how it created a support from these days. So maybe the next area down would be down to 18.74 and then down to $18 right there. That would be my prime potential entry if we see volume come into it and it creates a support. Right now we have a bit of an H setup. Boom. It looks like it wants to come down here and it really wants to test. Now, it is overextended, right? It's overextended on the daily over here. So we might see, why is it not showing up over there? What did I just do? There we go. So weird how some days, some of them will sync on the charts and others do not. All right, so we've got the red one over here. So it looks as if it found a bit of support there at 1950, and I would tighten it up to 2020. And I would look and see, hey, is it going to find support, or is it going to continue and break down and go down to that $18 mark? All right, STBA, SoftBank. So SoftBank has earnings coming up. I would keep that on watch. It does look like it found a bit of resistance up here for the daily, but we broke above it. However, the volume is not super high. So this might lead to a reversal right here. So I have this one on watch, right? Is this going to continue to break out here, break above 20 with strength? Oh, we want that green. Or is it going to break down again below 1980 and then continue down with that downward trend? This might have been sort of a suck the bulls into it, only to sell to them and then drop it back down maybe to the 20 SMA and then take it up from there. All right, so STBA, 1980 and 20. And then Peloton. So Peloton, you see how it's like testing high, test the support, lower high, test that support. Is it going to have the sellers step in and take this to the downside? We might very well see that happen. So let's be prepared, right? Let's be prepared either way. 131.40 and 129. Oh, I also have a question for you guys, because I was thinking about doing this on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I do yoga in the morning. I did go through power yoga training, and so I was thinking, if you guys would like it, that I could stream my yoga practice, so you guys could practice with me and practice getting centered with me if you want. So I don't know if that's something that you guys would be interested in. If you guys say yes, then I'll do it. I'll share. I mean, it's something I'm already doing, so I could share it and help you guys with yoga if you'd like that, and centering yourselves and stuff like that. So yes, it is before. Well, you know what, John? Your back is so important with all the nerve endings that go through it, that having a super healthy back can really extend your life. And seeing my dad, who has been really stationary through all of the pandemic, you know, movement is really good. And so keeping all of that in mind, that's a lot of why I do it as well, to keep my back healthy and my spine and everything like that. So, all right, so you guys are saying yes, so I will share with you guys, all right? And if you know people that want to do yoga too, just tell them to come on over. All right. Yeah, it's great, Asif. All right, so with WBA, Walgreens, we just had earnings. It came up, tested the 50 simple moving average, 50 simple moving average. I have this one on watch, right? We put this on before. It had a nice move to the upside, and now I would keep it on watch again for that potential breakout. We've got this nice, it's a bit of a descending triangle. However, we're in this upward price motion. We have a bit of an upward trend. It would be 7:30 a.m. Eastern, Samuel, just for half an hour. So not that long. I prefer to do an hour, but in the mornings with my daughters, it's really hard to get a full hour in. So I do what I can, right? And go from there. All right, oops. So we have a bit of an upward channel. So maybe it's gonna take till the end of October for this to break out. But looking at it, it's been in an upward trend, really, since we had this doji day back on September 11th. So liking WBA as a potential to move to the upside. Okay, also AWH, another one, Aspira Women's Health. Trend line right there, we broke out higher than normal volume. So keeping this one on watch for $4 break, and then potential surge up, right? After $4 would likely test that 460 area, and then up to 545. All right, VNet as well. So VNet have this crazy volume candlestick, or getting close to testing it. All right, so we will see. And also, please be kind when I do the yoga live stream, because it will be my first time streaming it, so I'm gonna have a learning curve with that as well. So please be kind with that, and let me know if it's certain things like you can't hear me, stuff like that, because I'll try to do my best, but it'll be something new for me to share as well, and that I've never done. So that's part of it, growing, right? Always growing. All right, so we have a resistance right here at 24.75, and we've broken above this trend line. So if we've broken above that trend line, let's bring this out again. Broken above there, and even here. So really, this is starting to show a breakout potential. You really want it to break out above 25 with some volume here. And that high of this candlestick is, where are we? This candlestick is 24.98. So we really need to break 25 here. But it could have a nice move from there, right? Look at how when it broke out, it went sideways, pulled back down. Then when it broke out from this resistance level, went from 15 to 30, it doubled. So VNet is definitely on watch for me. Okay, Nokia. I was doing some research and I was looking at Nokia. I backed it out onto a weekly chart. Do you guys see the upside down head and shoulders here? shoulder, head, shoulder, right? It's kind of on an angle. And if we could really break above 514, even just up a little bit more, 525, set an alert there, I think we will likely see a big move happen with Nokia. It's not there just yet, but we've been in a bit of a downward trend. Remember, this is a weekly chart right here. So it's been in a downward trend, and we have this resistance level right here, then potentially up to 550 and so on, and got that 425 on the weekly chart here, but I see an upside down head and shoulders. So this is exciting me, and it's starting to curl up down here. So that's it. It's not a massive one, but got me excited. Chart did. All right, COMM. Again, another downward trend. However, we've got this on our weekly, right? It's testing it. It tested it and it failed. And we have this one where we're right almost at that apex. So let's go to our daily. See, it's right here. Let's actually, we're going to readjust this because it had a lower low right here. So it's getting tighter here. Which way is it going to go? Is this going to break out on earnings in the telecommunications area? I have no idea what they do. Maybe I should do some more research, but I like the chart. The chart is primed for a movement. So this is one to watch. All right, let's get, oh, that wasn't me. That was somebody else. And why didn't, that was, who brought calm to the table today? That was Samuel. All right, so gold. So gold on our weekly, let's go back here. Let's get rid of this. This is our daily, right? So on the daily, this is just riding. Oh, and you know what? This is the CFD on gold. This is not ring gold. So let's go to Barrett gold. Excuse me, Barrett gold. So Barrett gold, yes, we are up at higher levels right now. Let's go to a weekly chart. I find that sometimes with gold and silver, it's easier to see on a weekly chart. And if we go back to March, or even down here, let's see. We've got this trend line here. And March, let's go to a daily. If I just sort of ignore that lower low right there, it's been also hovering right here along these moving averages. Another one to look at is GLD. So GLD, when we go to our weekly, has really held and come back to where we were the bottom of 23rd of March, and has just sort of been riding this up. So gold could very well, let's go to GC, the gold futures as well. Oops, I didn't want. There we go. And we'll look at the gold futures chart as well. So gold futures chart has really on the weekly just been riding up as well, right? If we ignore that anomaly of the correction area right there, we might come back down here, but we're really just riding it up here. We'll do another one right here. That's a little bit higher, that broke down. And even down here, that it's just riding this trend line, right? So maybe we're going to have a bit of a resistance right here with 1983 on the futures, and or maybe it's going to come down here to this flatter curve. And on our weekly right here, we're right in there. So it's at a point where it might be ready to just surge higher or surge lower. Yeah, happy times. I will add Vuzian and Baba, Corey. All right, so we also have PEIX. Was this you, Kyle, that brought PEIX? All right, so PEIX on our daily chart, we have higher than normal volume. We'll pull this up here, and let's pull it back to put a 45-minute chart on the left. Bring this up here, 1050, round dot, like round number, and then down to 950, just looking at it over here. All right, tighten it up, 980, 970 was really a resistance, and then it broke up and shot up to 1080. So would even bring that right up here, 1066, was not able to hold above that price level. And then it sold off from there. And so 970 would be a target to the downside from 1009. If we could break down there, back down to 970 potentially, which is also near the moving average right here for PEIX. All right, Facebook. So let's check out Facebook. Yeah, Dea, did I not add it? Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I forgot to add it. I know I said it, but I forgot to add it. All right, Facebook. Facebook is looking a lot like Apple and Microsoft, right? We had a massive up day, then we came down, had a bit of support, and then we're sort of trading sideways, right? So are we going to break above 271? I would look for 271 for a breakout move to the upside right here. I would watch for that. Look at how it was really support for a nice period right here, and then it pulled back down to 263, 263.40. Right there. 264.62, right? 264.40 and 271 would be the ones that I would want to watch for Facebook. Now remember, we do have earnings coming up the last week of October. I don't know, in my gut, I feel like they're going to come out with a vaccine the last week of October, and then that's going to try to make Trump look like a hero so that all of a sudden he can have the solution to all of our problems, right? Well, temporary solution, band-aid fix. Because not everybody's going to be able to get it, likely due to cost and also availability. They won't be able to produce it that much. But did anyone else wonder, how did he miraculously have all these drugs on hand when he got sick? All right, so Vuzi, right here, it's in a nice upward trend, right? But that $5 mark, every time it gets there, it's rejected. Big rejection day right here, another rejection day right here, another rejection day right here, and it all went to $5. We have $5.30 was the high on the 12th, this big volume day. So let's look at, on this, let's look back for 5 years and see. All right, that's the reason why. Look, once it breaks 5, then we're gonna go potentially up to 6, 7, right here, and then it might get stuck at that $7 range. So we might have a nice $2 move to the upside. Yeah, I know, John, but you think they had it just waiting for him? He got sick and then the next day they administered it. All right, Baba. So Baba's got this upward trend right here. Let's see, is that the same one as on the left over there? Or is that a separate one? All right. I'm going to lower this back down here. Ah, see, that's a separate one over here. So we might see that this will pull back to 286 over here. When we bring this up on the shorter time frame, 310 really looks like resistance. Resistance 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Are we going to break it the 4th time and then surge higher? Oops, we've got the weekly chart over there. And tighten it up here with 302.60. That's going to be my support area to watch. Yes, it's in the middle. If it breaks down, then watch out. We're going to likely come down to 300 test down here. And we have 293 down here. You see how it bounced right off of that 425 on Wednesday? for Baba. You guys got to put that on your chart. All right. So next one is SPCE and then KCAC, and then we will call it a day because I got to go and eat. My tummy is grumbling. I didn't have lunch yet. All right, so Virgin Galactic. Let's do a horizontal line. I don't think I have any here. All right, so we see this nice resistance right here, 2250, right? You can see it on the left as well, the shorter time frame, even all the way up at 2280 actually. So 2280 where it had the resistance level over here on the left, and then we look here for support on the shorter time frame. Once it broke through here, it acted as support, support, little downtrend, back up, and then support. So really 2050 for support and 2280 for resistance. In the middle, maybe it's gonna go sideways. Now what happened on earnings back here? -3 cents. So is the earnings, are they running it up before earnings to have it drop down? They're estimating -26 cents for SPCE. All right, KCAC, oops, add an extra letter. Kensington Capital, and another one from doing a training session this week we're going to look at is McAfee. McAfee is going to be issuing their IPO on Thursday, so keep your eyes out for that. That will be Mike Charlie Foxtrot Echo, so MCFE. It's not listed yet, but keep your eyes out because that is due to open on Thursday and will likely have a crazy move to it, much like Zoom, right? Everybody needs that security for their computer. KCAC. I don't like this one so much to the long side. This looks more short bias to me. We can check and see. Have you know the best place where I go, John? KCAC IPO turns look like stilettos. Yeah, there's large wicks. It might have a lower float. I have no idea. But look at this, how on that 45-minute. So I would watch these. Which one is going to win? Are they going to break it down below this trend line here? Boom, they bring it down, or they're going to break it out above $15, and then it might go to $15.50 right there, or $15.85. But it's quite steep to the downside and more shallow to the upside. So there might be some more people buying it and slowly propping it up here, and then as it breaks out, it might squeeze those shorts to the upside. All right, guys, so have an amazing rest of your weekend. I will see you all. Actually, let's do this. I will see you all tomorrow. Yes, ASIF. I will see you all tomorrow at 12:15. And for those that want to join on Tuesday mornings and Thursday mornings at 7:30 a.m. Eastern, get into some comfortable clothes, enough space for you to lie down, full body, wherever you are, so that you can practice some yoga with me. And we will all be calm and centered before the market opens, at least on Tuesdays and Thursdays. All right, Carpe Profit, seize those profits one trade at a time. See you tomorrow at 12:15. Bye.